Hello and welcome to another special live streaming episode for Real Time China. I'm Lindy Mtongana and today it is day 4 of our Real Time China tour, and I'm here at the Shaolin Temple in Dengfeng County, County in Henan Province. Now, if it does sound familiar to you, Dengfeng, it's because it is the home of the Shaolin Temple, a very special place indeed that has a lasting legacy and a very long history here in China. Of course, it's known for its association with Zen Buddhism. And because of that, it's still home to the main Buddhist temple and monuments around Zen Buddhism. And of course, here there's also the pagoda garden, the pagoda forest. And these are just some of the key attractions that bring tourists here from all over the world. But another key legacy of the Shaolin Temple is, of course, Shaolin Kung Fu. Now, it's world famous thanks in part to television and movies that really popularized Chinese martial arts through the 70s, the 80s and 90s with film stars like Bruce Lee, Jet Li, Jackie Chan, all of these stars really popularizing Chinese martial arts, in particular the Shaolin art form, the Shaolin Kung Fu form. Right now I'm standing at a very special school. It's known as the Tanghu School of Martial Arts, and it's actually been around for a number of years. I just want to show you the main square where in fact students from around the world come to learn Shaolin Kung Fu. It attracts, I believe, tens of thousands of students every year that come here to learn the craft. And as you can see in the main square, there's a number of students gathered here. They've been gathered here since early this morning. About 8,000 students were here earlier. And we saw them practicing, getting to work, doing various tasks, learning more about the craft of Shaolin Kung Fu. I'm just having a look here, a little bit of information about Kung Fu, and it tells us, in fact, that at this school, many of the students have actually gone on to participate and compete in various championships. I see here that they've won championships, they've participated in the Olympic Games. You can really tell that at the school, they take the art of Shaolin Kung Fu very seriously indeed. 35,000 students. The courses offered even starting as young as kindergarten right up until university age. So really a very comprehensive way in which to learn Shaolin Kung Fu, and definitely a place where people have come from far and wide to hone their skills. Well, to find out more about the school, we're now joined by one of the coaches, one of the teachers here, Mr. Zhu Qinhua. Mr. Zhu Qinhua, nice to meet you too. Yeah. Thank you so much for having us. I wanted to ask you about the students here. How many students do you have today or at this time, and where do most of them come from?
I think Chinese martial arts like Kung Fu. It's many years, more than years. So in the other countries, people very like Chinese Kung Fu movie. Maybe of Bruce Lee, Kung Fu star, Jet Li, Jackie Chan. Yeah. So every year come to here about dozens countries. People come to here. Yes, about hundreds. Every year, hundreds students come to here learn Kung Fu.
From 30 different countries around the world.
Countries.
Countries like?
Yeah. Like Europe, Africa, yes, American, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So let's take a bit of a walk and have a look around here. I wanted to ask you, just in terms of the students that come here, what is the age group? How young and how old?
Come to here, the younger, come from 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah. Old, something. Maybe 50, more 50, 60. Yes, adult and child also too much.
So
yeah.
The ones that come here from the age of 4 years old, how many years do they stay here? How many years do they stay and train and learn?
3 years. 3 years. If 3 years, someone want continue, they can always stay here. So start class and kung fu and martial arts.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about you? When did you start learning Kung Fu?
Me? I learned here, come from 1995, come to here. I teach Kung Fu this year. It's 21 years. Yes, 21 years.
That's amazing. 21 years.
Yeah, 21 years teaching. Yeah.
And so, do you think that teaching Kung Fu, is it about the body or is it about the mind? With Kung Fu. Is it about learning more about exercising the body, or is it also to learn things about exercising your mind?
I think same, all need. Yeah.
And it's hard work?
Hard work.
Difficult, like, many hours of training and practice?
Same, half.
Yeah?
Half.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what is a usual day for the students here? They start at 8 o'clock, and what time do they finish training every day?
Every day in the morning, now in the winter, get up, start 6 o'clock, get up. Yes. This morning finish about 12 o'clock. Afternoons, about start 2:30 to 5 o'clock. Evening, sometime usually in the classroom study. Yeah.
Until what time?
Evening finish about 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock sleep.
So from morning 6 o'clock until night 9 o'clock.
Yes,
it's
longer.
all day, every day.
Yes.
That is incredible. So do you compete? Do you participate in competitions?
Yeah, competition. Yes, I have 20 years ago. I get champion.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's amazing. So we're talking to an actual Kung Fu champion right here. It's really amazing to find out more about your school. Thank you so much, Mr. Jinwai. I appreciate your time. So just spending some time here this morning has certainly been incredible for me. As I mentioned earlier, we were here at about 8 o'clock this morning. It was about -5 degrees then. It's still bitterly cold now, but it was really remarkable to see thousands of students gather on that main field, 8,000 in total, to start their training outside. And as we heard from Mr. Jinwai, they in fact start their days at 6 a.m. Now, when we looked out into the field, you mainly saw Chinese faces. As we've heard, there's about 35,000 students that attend the school every year. The majority are Chinese, but indeed there are many from other parts of the world too. And we found out, in fact, that there's a small group of foreigners that are training here at the moment, and we're about to meet them and find out a little bit more about their experiences. So here they are, gentlemen. Thank you so much. I'm going to come and sit in the middle over here. Oh, on this cold day. Thank you so much for sitting with me and joining me. So Giovanni on my right over here. Let's start with you. Tell us about why you're here, where you come from, and what's brought you to the Shaolin Temple.
So I'm from Italy, and I come here because for me Kung Fu is a lifestyle. It's a way to find yourself, I think. It's beautiful to stay here and to stay some magic here, because you are in the middle where Kung Fu is born, really. And I appreciate all this, and it's really magic to stay here.
That is incredible. Nisant, you've been here for 10 months already.
Yes.
Yeah, tell us about your time and your program. Why stay so long, actually?
I wanted to learn Kung Fu from its origin, the place where it was born. So that's why I came here to learn Kung Fu in the first place. And in this 10 months, I've learned so much about this culture, about this place. I've got so many good opportunities, and I cannot be more grateful. Like I have had more than what I wanted to experience here. So it's a great experience.
And Vincent, you're from the United States. That's a very long journey too to have made.
Yes.
Tell us about your experience. I mean, this must be quite a... I mean, I wonder if is it a clash of cultures for you in some ways?
Yes, it is. It's very controversial. People always say, well, why are you going to China? It's so dangerous. But I've studied Kung Fu for 10 years, and I'm a Shifu in America, and I come here to sharpen my skills and get the authentic taste of Kung Fu and get everything I can possibly. I'm only here for 6 months, not quite as long as Nishant, but yeah, I hope to achieve a lot here.
Do you think it's something of a pilgrimage that if you are dedicated to Kung Fu, at some point you have to come to the Shaolin Temple?
I think that you want to get the real taste. I mean, there's a lot of kung fu being taught in America that isn't authentic. It isn't. It's watered down, and it's missing key integral parts. And here, I'm noticing that I'm filling in the gaps of my knowledge.
And is that the same for you? I mean, do you find that you feel challenged here by the work, by the program that you have to comply with as a student?
Yeah, I feel like challenged to do that here because it's also heavy loads. So it's not like where you stay in your country, you practice Kung Fu in your country. It's totally different. Here you taste really what is Kung Fu. So
And what is it for you now? I mean, how has your understanding of Kung Fu changed since you've arrived here?
So my understanding of Kung Fu chain is like something special to me. It's about like change me to involve me in a better level of my martial arts and to my life. I go better, I think, with Kung Fu.
Nishant, is that similar for you? I mean, is it more about the body or is it more about the mind, what you learn here?
It's both. It's a combination of both, and that's what makes it most beautiful. You know, like what I saw in India was just the tip of the iceberg. Here you come and you see like your environment is surrounded by Kung Fu. Like you see everywhere there is a kid playing and who's doing Kung Fu, like from 5 years old to old people, everyone here is doing Kung Fu. So it's like this entire place is Kung Fu. So that's why it's such a great experience.
And just coming back to you, Vincent, I'm curious about this, you know, we were talking about sort of clash of cultures a little earlier. I'm curious about being here in the center of Kung Fu. Does it feel like a sport or a martial art that is authentically and fundamentally Chinese, or is it in some ways universal?
I think it's more universal. It's more about self-cultivation. It's about growing as a person and as a martial artist. Always looking up and improving in every way you can.
So what are the key lessons then? I mean, even for people like me that have never tried martial arts, what are the key lessons to be learned from it?
Keeping a level head and staying motivated and wanting to learn more and not staying closed-minded but open-minded.
If only our politicians would give it a try, hey? For sure. Sounds like something they should do. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for sharing your insights, your lessons that you've learned here and about your time. Thank you very much. So I'd like to ask if you wouldn't mind giving us a brief demonstration of some of the things you've learned. Sure. Yeah? Thank you. Let me get up.
Go first. Who first? I don't know. I'll go first. You go first.
Well, wasn't that just amazing? As you've seen, there's some incredible demonstrations of Kung Fu martial arts. A big thank you to these gentlemen that have just shown us some amazing things here at the Taogu School of Martial Arts. Now, just in closing, I must say that along this journey, this has been one of the most amazing stops for me. The Shaolin Temple, of course, I too heard about it as a child watching Kung Fu movies, but being here actually in person, it is something quite astounding. And this incredible backdrop of these mountains and these beautiful monuments and temples, it is something certainly to behold. So that's it from us here at the Shaolin Temple. Do be sure to continue following the real-time China journey. We're still on our way to Shenzhen, and there's plenty more to come in the days ahead. So make sure you tune in for the next episode. From me, Lindy Mtongana, it's goodbye.